First sat down to start studying with a cup of coffee in one hand and your first day textbook right in front of you. You feel like you are ready to be locked in and productive, but you find that you're reading the same sentence in first aid over and over again because you didn't even remember what you read the first few times. You start to remember that as a young student in elementary and middle school, you could read lengthy books for hours at a time, and now you struggle to even read a few sentences in a first aid book. Let me tell you, this happens to a lot of students. It used to happen to me as well. What is happening here is that your brain has been rewired from reading lengthy content in your childhood from books to being used to seeing short few second videos from TikTok or Instagram reels. What this means is that it makes it harder for us to start studying because our focus is constantly drifting. So you might be asking, what is the solution to this problem? And the best way that I have found to reverse the effects that doom scrolling has on our brains is to start meditating. You can think of meditating as being like the equivalent of exercising today to reverse the effects of a bad diet that you might have had when you were younger. Meditation is the antidote to the brain rot that is induced by scrolling through TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and all the other short form content apps out there. These apps constantly give you more and more new content and make it hard to focus on just one thing. With meditation, you're deliberately trying to tune out everything else and focus on just one thing, i.e., your breath. You take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out, like that. This makes it easier for your brain to be able to tune out all the distractions that pop into your mind and better able to focus on whatever you are trying to do in the present moment. The benefits of meditation are frequent even outside of studying, by the way. By being more engaged in the present moment, you feel so much happier and better able to focus on any task or conversation, even ones that have nothing to do with your studies. So now that you know the benefits that meditation can offer in your life, how should you implement it into your life? The easiest way I have found is to start meditating is by downloading this free app called Medita, which I will link in the description. Download it and then click on the daily meditation button on the top left and start off with 3 minutes of meditation. While 3 minutes isn't a lot, it's a lot easier to do every day than starting off with 20 minutes of meditation, which is hard to consistently maintain with a busy schedule in medical school. That's something you can build up towards later, but start off with 3 minutes. Meditation is something you want to try to do every day to see the benefits from. Don't do 3 minutes once today and then do nothing for the rest of the week. Try to meditate every single day. For the best results, I recommend doing something called habit stacking, which is a concept I was introduced to in a book called Atomic Habits. Habit stacking is where you do a habit that you really want to start doing right after another habit that you are already consistently doing. So, what this would look like in practice is that after you grab your cup of coffee, you immediately sit down and start meditating. Stacking meditation with another habit is powerful because you already do the first habit consistently. So, the only thing you have to do is add a few extra steps to transition into the next habit. Versus if you try to randomly meditate at a random time with no habits before or after that, you will find it hard to be consistent with that every single day because it was something that was added to your routine with nothing that builds into it or builds out of it. Think about it this way, it's a lot easier to floss your teeth after you have already brushed them this morning because those two habits are already stacked for you. You wouldn't brush your teeth at 9 a.m. and then wait to floss at 2 p.m. That makes no sense. By the way, if you're a medical student or pre-med that is looking for people to keep you accountable with studying, performing good habits and studying, click the top link in the description to be connected with a group of like-minded individuals and receive one-on-one calls with me where we can talk about how to improve your medical experience, wellness, and performance. So when you are meditating, I recommend following the speaker's prompts as closely as possible. But keep in mind that your mind will eventually wander. This happens to everyone, even people that meditate every day. This doesn't mean you are meditating wrong or that something is wrong with you. Like, that doesn't mean you have ADHD. Being unable to focus on the breath is a normal part of meditating. Saying that meditation doesn't work for you because you have thoughts pop into your head is like saying that weightlifting doesn't work for you because you experience soreness in your muscles afterwards. The soreness is part of the process, just as getting distracted is part of the process in meditation. When you do find yourself getting distracted from focusing on the breath, the best thing you can do is try to acknowledge that you've lost focus and then try to refocus fully on the breath. The last thing I will recommend for you to improve your focus is that you reduce your usage on social media. Like I said earlier, meditation is the antidote to doom scrolling. If you're doom scrolling before or after meditating, that's like eating an entire pizza box right after you spent hours at the gym. Like you just lost all the progress that you just made. Each social media is specifically wired to be as addicting to our brains as possible. So I understand if it's hard to quit, but there are tools available to help you out with it. Meditation, of course, is one of the best tools you can use because it not only improves your focus, but it helps with limiting bad decisions as well. That's what makes it doubly so powerful. There was a video I once watched on meditation, and the speaker said that meditation makes your prefrontal cortex a lot stronger. What he said this leads to is better decision making. In his life, what that meant is that he was less likely to make bad decisions because meditation rewired his brain to make the voice that tells you that what you're about to do is a bad idea, it makes that voice even louder. So if you're about to pick up your phone and scroll Instagram after you've been studying for 5 minutes, your post meditation brain will think more critically of that decision and make it easier for you to say no to picking up your phone. Another free tool that I found helps a lot with my focus and limiting social media distractions is this app called Screen Zen. It lets you set limits on how many times you can use an app for and for how many minutes you can use it for each time. That way it doesn't feel like you're missing out on too much of what your friends are doing, but you also aren't wasting hours upon hours on these apps, as that app will keep you accountable and has so many highly customizable options. One final tool I will mention is the iOS Focus Profiles. I was able to configure mine so that whenever my phone detects that I am near the campus library, it automatically turns on the school focus, which silences all notifications. The only calls I get are from my study partners in case they want to study together with me. And all the distracting apps are removed from my home screen. It customizes your home screen depending on what focus you use. And this turns on automatically when I'm within a certain radius distance from the library. So it requires no input from me. It makes it that much harder to use Instagram when I can't even find it on my home screen. And I don't get any notifications from it when I'm at the library. And since it automatically enables, unlike Do Not Disturb, which I have to manually turn on anytime I feel like focusing, it takes more effort to turn it off since it's automatically enabled than it does to turn it on, if that makes sense. So it's easier for me to just leave it on and study. That would be the option that takes less resistance for me. So I'm able to better focus and lock in. And these are all of my reasons for why I started meditating in medical school and the benefits you'll see out of them, and how it improves my efficiency multiple fold. Before implementing these strategies, I would feel like I'm studying all the time. I would be at the library for 10 hours and still feel like I didn't learn all that much. With meditation and other strategies in my life that improve focus, the same stuff that I would accomplish in 10 hours, I can accomplish in maybe 3 or 4 hours because I'm better able to limit my distractions and fully lock in. But keep in mind, these are only some of the strategies I use to improve my focus and attention in medical school. If I made a video on all the methods that I use, it would easily end up being over 6 hours long. So, if you want additional help with learning, motivation, retention, and focus in medical school or in preclinical study for pre-medical studies, then click the top link in the description to join a community of like-minded individuals that are trying their best to be the best version of themselves in medical school. Otherwise, I bid you all farewell.